Good evening. My name is Brenna Belknap, and this is my Week 2 Wiki for EDUU 625. So for this week, we're looking at does teaching and assessment and assessing in a standards-based environment curb teacher creativity? Um, I think that oftentimes with given specific parameters, it can be hard to find your own voice within that. But looking through the PBS website, I was able to find a fun activity that went along with my age level and that I thought could be utilized in some pretty fun ways. So for the activity that I found, it's called Shape House. And through this activity, you are looking at geometrical shapes, rectangle, triangle, oval, circle, squares, and seeing what you can build with those shapes. So for the activity here, they build a house out of all those different shapes. And I thought that the creativity is certainly there because you can start with building a house and then you can see what other things your students can build and create using the different shapes that you provide. I know they have like tanagrams or the geometric shape patterns that we'll often use in my classroom, and while oftentimes they have um, like templates for you to fill in to create the shape that they have suggested using those different shapes. You can also give your students the ability to create their own experience and their own picture using the shapes provided. So, yeah, so it's teaching the vocabulary of circle, triangle, square, and rectangle. You're using a variety of shapes. So what I liked, it's not necessarily an assessment because it's this activity is being done with preschoolers, but I like these discussion questions because a lot of times whenever I am doing activities with my kids, when they're doing pictures, I like to dictate what they're telling me, and I think that that's a great form of assessment, especially for my students who aren't able to write on their own. So you can ask them what shapes they're using in the house, and that will help you to see if they understand and can recognize the different shapes. Um, and then maybe if the number 2 question here is what shapes would you use? So after you've given them the prompt and you've shown them how you would draw a house, have them draw a house and see if maybe their house would be a tall rectangle or if it's going to be a square the same as yours. And then what else can we build with these shapes? So this is where that creativity really falls into place on what can you build with the shapes. Here are the standards. So for California, we use the California Preschool Learning Foundations in my classroom. And these are the standards here that go along with the activity. So by around 4 years of age, they are able to identify simple two-dimensional shapes such as a circle and a square. And also with this activity, they are using the individual shapes to represent different elements of a picture or design. So the 6 month or the 60 months, 5 years of age, it's a little more advanced and a little deeper of the understanding. I pulled up the California Preschool Learning Foundations here. And so this is the geometry here. And then I was looking below, and you can use this as well to understand positions in space. So just another extension activity that you can do is having your students, telling them to put the triangle on the square in order to make the roof, and using those positioning words in order to just kind of deeper their understanding of the shapes and how they coordinate around in space. So as you can see, teaching inside standards-based environments, I don't think that it curbs teacher creativity. I think that it gives you kind of a healthy parameter on where you can go with the lesson, and it's really just up to your imagination where you take it.